bar.
Well, I remember, too, the description then of what caused the success was this sort of commitment to real customer-focused staff, which, any successful business needs. And then also there was sort of this unique experience that you tried to bring to consumers, a unique wine experience. Is that sort of stayed consistent, or is the formula kind of matured over time as well?
No, that's absolutely consistent. I think it's the backbone for everything we do. It's the guests. We consider people that walk in the door our guests, just like if you walked into our house. The guest has to have an exceptional experience. In fact, that's our mission statement for our company. So customer service has to be great. We try to go above and beyond. We allow people to try products. One of our mottos is try before you buy. Don't let us tell you what you like. You don't want us telling you that you like Brussels sprouts if you don't like Brussels sprouts. So why should we tell you you're going to love Merlot if you don't like Merlot, right?
Okay, absolutely.
And we try to give people a lot of opportunities to taste different wines, learn about wines. We're constantly having dinners, winemakers in, special tastings. We look for any excuse in the world to have a festival. We've got paella festivals going on right now. So we just like to have fun and spread that fun with our guests and friends.
Great. You mentioned food already playing a big role now in the tasting room. I think I've seen that sort of grow over the years. Tell us about the food history at the tasting room.
Well, the tasting room started off serving wine, focus on wine,
right.
But we also had some cheese plates and bread.
All
But
right.
as I said, we had 2 employees, so if I was behind the bar serving you wine, you wanted a cheese plate, there was a good chance that I had to say, hey, watch the shop for a second. And I went back in the kitchen and cut up a little cheese and some bread and came back and then topped off your wine for you. So,
okay. So it was you and a cheese plate.
That's right. That's
okay.
right. It was at the simplest elements, like
Okay.
literally coming into somebody's home.
Okay.
But through the years, we've grown that, and Uptown Park now has a great food program.
Right.
Of course, we had the Max's Wine Dives, where we've got some great chefs. And it's funny because along the way, we've been kind of a minor league or, major league even for great chefs. A lot of our chefs have started out with us and spent, several years maybe going from Uptown Park tasting room to Max's Wine Dive. Then they've gone on to run their own restaurants or work for high-profile executive chef positions in town. And we enjoy that. It's fun seeing the talent out there.
Sure.
And we're really passionate about food and wine, so we like to bring in people who are also passionate about it. And if you get a chef that's passionate about food, it's likely they're going to have some great success.
Right. Well, and I'm under the impression this guy you have here, Michael Kramer, is really a big catch for you. You recruited him from out of town, correct?
Yeah, that's right. Michael Kramer has had a great reputation. He's worked from East Coast to West Coast, worked here in Houston at a really high-profile restaurant, and is on board right now working on our culinary program. One of the things we wanted to do with this location is bring food front and center. So I said, when you walk in the door, I want people to see fire. I want them to smell, roasted garlic and pizzas coming out of this oven. So we brought in this huge pizza oven, this Italian pizza oven. We sent Kramer and his sous chef to study traditional Neapolitan-style pizza making, where they import a special dough, special sauces, and this oven gets up to about 1,000 degrees, and it can knock out a pizza in about 90 seconds.
Wow.
A little crust on top, little burnt edges, so
Cool.
it's really neat.
Cool. Well, so, but still, could one come in here and order a complete meal, or is it, primarily sort of hors d'oeuvres and food designed to go with the wine that they would be drinking?
Well, it's a very broad menu. So there's we want to be flexible for all of our customers. Whether you want to come in here and have small bites with, we have a charcuterie bar. So there's a glassed in case next to the charcuterie bar with this beautiful Italian marble up there, and there'll be chefs there. So you can come sit there and they'll cut house-made salumis, various meats that we import, great cheeses. They'll make it right in front of you. It's really neat. We've got the big pizza oven, but we also do a lot of dinners, and we have a dining room for people that want to come and have a 3 or 4 course meal.
Okay, really cool. Now, when you talk about food, I know you probably dived in head first with your Max's Wine Dive formula. For those that don't know about Max's Wine Dive, why don't you describe that setting for them?
Well, with Max's Wine Dive, we wanted to replicate this whole dive bar feel. And when I say dive bar, what was in our minds is a place where you feel really comfortable, where there's a jukebox and it's playing the music that you like to hear, you know all the words to the songs, you belly up to the bar. But instead of the buckets of beer and peanuts on the floor, we thought, why don't we just mix that in a juxtaposition atmosphere with great wine and great gourmet comfort food. So we took foods that everybody knows, like fried chicken and burgers, things that you love from your youth and you crave, and we just got the finest ingredients. Everything's made from scratch, and I mean everything. We make our own ketchup, make our own mustard. There's the Max's Wine Dive doesn't even have a walk-in refrigerator. Everything's delivered fresh daily, and they make it from scratch. So it's really a fun concept.
Jerry, it sounds so progressive for somebody who just decided, hey, I want to get into the restaurant business and the wine business. And Max's Wine Dive, that formula's working well for you as well, right?
That's been fun. We've been expanding. We're now in Houston, Austin, and San Antonio, soon to be Dallas. So we like to think that we're going to touch, we want to touch every Texan, and then we're going to try to take it across the country. Okay.
So when you say that, are you talking strictly about Max's Wine Dive, or are you talking about the tasting room as well?
Well, we're not sure about the tasting room. The tasting room model is very complicated in the fact that it's gotten very large, a lot of moving parts. One of our latest two tasting rooms, the Uptown Park's latest rendition in this location, they each have anywhere from 75 to 100 employees. So taking it across the country, is a little bit daunting. So right now we're just happy to be in Houston.
All right. So the Max's Wine Dive is the formula that works real well in expansion, in your opinion, right?
Yeah, we think it does. Yeah. Now we are looking to be company owned. We've put a lot of effort over the last 8 years into creating our management team, putting systems in place, getting a corporate culture. We've got that in place now. We have about 300 employees. We have an executive team. So we want to exercise the talent that we have on board and open more restaurants.
Okay. Now, you say company owned. I remembered 5 years ago, we talked about, the franchising potential. Right. I assume there is no tasting room or Max's Wine Dive franchise in operation today.
That's correct.
And is that still discussed?
Well, we really don't discuss franchising with those two concepts. We like to keep those in-house. However, it's an entrepreneurial company, so we're always bursting at the seams with ideas. Why don't we do this? Why don't we do that? Some of those ideas we think are great, and if they're simple enough and small enough, because I think that's the trick of a great franchise, it's got to be repeatable, trainable to individuals that don't necessarily have 8 years of experience, doing it. And we think we might have a couple of those that we may try that concept.
So we just need to keep our eyes open and keep reading the newspapers and finding out what's next for Lasco Enterprises.
I'll always let you know first.
Really cool.